Hey traders, John Howell here. In this session, I'm going to talk to you about why it's so important to keep an eye on that higher time frame that you are trading. Let's get straight into it. Guys, do not place trade based on what you see in this video. This here is education only to help you become a much better trader. All right, let's get straight into it. Guys, one of the best things that has really helped me with my trading over my trading career has been how to read the higher time frame trend. My mentor always said two things to me. One, who's in control, and trade with the trend. Number one, who's in control? Who's in control of that time frame you're trading? So for example, if you are trading, say, a daily chart, all right, we're looking at this particular stock right now. And let's just say, for example, looking at this particular stock, and we're looking at, say, ESL, right? And this is a stocky ESL, and you can see how we had a nice run up, small bars, you know, nice breakout bar, got the moving average pointing up, got volume, right? So who's in control of this chart right now? The buyers, right? So who's in control? And trade with the trend. Now, what that means is, are you trading with the higher time frame trend? I guarantee you, if you're struggling with your trades, you're not reading the higher time frame trend properly in the market. So one thing I want to share with you is this, is that I'm going to put an arrow right here, right? And this is something that has just helped me immensely. Even just recently, I went to take a trade, everything lined up, and then I did this exact same analysis and I didn't take the trade, and guess what? It was actually a losing trade because of exactly what I'm about to share with you here, right? So let's actually move this here. So let's actually do this right now. I want to share this with you right now. Right? Now, this is for people that are trading the markets, right? You may be in and out very, very quickly. Now, as you can see, right, if I bring, now, once again, you can see where the arrow is right here, okay? And you can see this is the arrow here, right? We've got a nice pullback here, got a nice breakaway bar. Looks like it's going to continue up, right? On this short-term time frame chart. But one thing you don't realize is when you look at the weekly chart and you bring it back, say, to 3 or 4 years, and you start to identify some major trends, where are the major trends here, major support and resistance levels that may have an effect on this trade here? So firstly, what you can see, right, you can see how we've got this trend through here, right? We've got this basically this major trend all through here, right? Somewhere through there. See how that is through there? If I bring it down a bit more, but if I bring it through there, as you can see, right, we have this point through here, this point through here, and there's a couple of points through there as well too. See that there? This is a long-term trend line coming down through here, and you can see where it actually stopped through there. Now, as you can see, right, that long-term trend line was indeed a strong resistance level through there. And if you wanted to bring it down a bit more to get a bit more touches, you can see that's where it's at right now, right? So you can see this bar here to the left. Okay, this bar here to the left, it was some sort of entry bar that you're looking at, a nice breakaway bar. And you can see where it's at right now. But look at that weekly chart, right? That weekly, there's a big, strong weekly trend down there. And plus, as you can see, right, there's a whole bunch of areas on this weekly chart right here. See all these levels through here? Support here, resistance. Look at all that resistance, support through there as well. So this whole area through here is indeed what? A major area of resistance over the last couple of years. So the short-term chart may say, hey, this looks like it's going to go up, but this is what the long-term charts say, and this is what actually happened with that trade there, right? Now, it did gap up on news, but that's luck, right? That's luck. But as you can see, right, it actually backed off. I'll give you another example of how this works here. This actually happened. Now, I actually took this trade, by the way, and it was one of the lessons. I'm like, oh, I could really see how that works, right? So let's actually go back to here. This was on the what? This was on the silver market right now. So what we're looking at, let me bring up this chart through here. Let me see if I can bring this up. I'm going to bring this up through here. All right, and I want to bring just this bar. Okay, cool. All right, so fantastic. So what do we see here on this daily silver chart? We see a nice run up. We see a nice sideways movement, and we see a nice breakaway bar, right? So it looks like it's going to continue up from here. This is what we're seeing on the short term. This is why it's so important to keep an eye on that big picture, because that big picture, that higher time frame trend is so important, that you're not going against any major support and resistance levels, because it's going to stop you. It's gonna literally be against the trade, and more times than not, it's gonna roll over. So for example, we're looking at this So let me just erase everything off the screen here. And I'm going to put an arrow here where this is right. Now, as you can see, right, looks like it's, on the short term, looks pretty good, doesn't it? You know, we're breaking above these highs through here. We've got all these small little bars and a nice run up. Looks like a breaking up, right? Looks like it's about to continue up, doesn't it? But when we actually go back to our weekly chart, let's go back to our weekly chart at that time. All right, let's go back to weekly chart at that time. So the weekly chart was where? This is where the weekly chart was at that time, as you can see where my arrow is. Now, if we're looking at the weekly chart at that time, and this is where this daily chart was, and now we go to the weekly chart, what is the weekly chart doing? Firstly, we have what? We have from here to here is what? A major area of resistance. See how it actually, this is like there's a lot of areas through here, isn't there? Look at this here. We have resistance through here. Okay, I'll bring that back off again. All right, so we have resistance through here. We had a little resistance through here, resistance. See this weekly resistance through here? It's actually had a lot of problems through this entire area. See that? So if I draw my box around from the high point of that area down to the low points, as you can see, right? See how I'm identifying these areas where, remember, this is the weekly chart. So this is where it's actually had a lot of problems for a whole week, not just 1 or 2 days, but a whole week. And as you can see, it's had plenty of resistance through there. So now we can see what? Now we can see, this level through here over the last 12 months especially has been a problem area in the markets. And if I'm taking a trade against this, then it's actually a low probability trade. What can I also see? I also can see what? I also can see that this market also has a what? A downward trend. Let me see if I can bring this out a bit more. If I draw it from the high point through here and I draw it down through there, then there's nothing going on through there. And there's nothing going on through there if I bring this higher. So what I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm trying to just to get a lot of touches on my trend line, right? So that's when you're drawing trend lines, you're trying to get as many touches as possible on that trend line. So I'm going to go back to that 12-month view here for a minute. And I'm just going to identify this high through here, and I'm just going to connect all the high points up from there to there. See that there? That's all I'm going to do is from there. See how I connected that high point there? I got this week here, and this week here, right? So we know we're getting, where are we right now? If we're looking at this daily chart, where are we right now? We're at this major area. Remember this box here is what? That weekly resistance. And now we have this trend line through here. What is that? That trend line through here is where it has a very high probability of having a lot of resistance through there. So let's actually go back to the next day. Next day, it struggled, right? It got almost to the trend line through there, right? Almost to the trend line, and then backed off. Now remember, also, if we're looking at the trend on that weekly chart, who's in control? High, we have a lower high, we have a higher high. Then the market comes down, it makes a low, makes a lower high, and a lower low. Then the market runs up. Actually, no, that's not a high. This is the high through here. Let me do that again, right? So what I'm looking for, I'm looking at the majors here, right? So the major is major swing down, major swing up, major swing down, major swing up. We have a major swing down. So you have to say that was the high point through there. Yeah, right. And the major swing down and major swing up. Right. So when we're looking at this weekly chart here, do we have a strong trend? Yes or no? No, right? We don't. So there's no one really in control. But also, what do? We also can see that the overall majors is what? Lower high, and there could be some sort of lower high through here. So, right, so we're going against that overall weekly trend as well too. So this is what it looked like at that time on that weekly chart. And people got, like, again, I traded this and I got out a few days later. But then this is one of the biggest mistakes that I made. This was actually back at the start of the year, by the way. And it really enforced this lesson that when I take trades that do this, it gives me a lot of pain. And so as you can see, right, this is what ended up happening to the market. It just continued on down. And this would actually end up happening to the weekly chart as well too, right? We just went overall step down. This is why you never ever want to go against that weekly trend. Because as you can see, if I extend this trend line out even more now to connect the high points, what did I just do? I just connected. Remember that this is the exact same trend line I just drew a minute ago. Look at that trend line. Resistance through here, resistance, resistance. It hit this resistance here. Now I've got this resistance point. Look at that resistance through there, right? So if you're trying to go long through here, see how this just kept knocking it down and kept knocking it down, right? And so then now what happened is what? And then the market then suddenly started to sell off. We started to break past these major levels through here. And then we started that descent. So what I'm trying to share with you is that whenever you're trading, this is a major key to your success in the markets, is reading that higher time frame trend. Are you trading with the trend? Is there any major key areas of support and resistance? If you're trading a 5-minute chart or a 15-minute chart, use that hourly chart for what I'm talking about here. For me, I trade, now with my Forex and futures trading, yes, I trade a 2-minute chart, 5-minute chart, and 15-minute chart. Whenever I'm trading those time frame, guess what? I'm going to the hourly chart to see where is the trend, what's the trend in place right now, and all that sort of stuff. Now, there's a lot of other things I can talk about with the actual weekly chart, meaning like, is the market overextended? If there is, then it's a very low probability chance, etc., 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 right? But what I'm teaching you guys here is exactly that. Now, when I'm trading the stock market in the morning and I'm trading options over the stock market, the exact same thing here, right? I'm using the daily chart for my entry, so I'm getting in on the daily chart. I get in on 5 minutes before the close, and I'm holding these trades anywhere from 1 to 5 days. Now, why 1 to 5 days? If I wake up the very next day and that thing's moved for me for a very nice profit, I'm taking that and running and go and repeat that thing as many times as possible throughout the year. If it goes against me or goes sideways, then I literally give it 1 to 5 days to give the trade time to work out, because more times than not, etc., 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 right? Now, you got to have your plan in place. You can't just take a breakout. I still look for my pattern, my exact setup I'm looking for on that daily chart. But if you're not reading the weekly chart properly, then this could be a very, very, very bad thing against you. And I've just shared with you 2 examples of how when you read that higher time frame chart, how important it is to you. So many people don't realize this. So when you're looking at the Dow Jones right now, or the silver and gold market, or the silver and gold ETFs, this is the reason why it's so important to your success and to increase your probability to really understand what's going on with that higher time frame. After being mentored by 4 different 7-figure traders, I've realized they all have some things in common that actually help them do really, really well in the markets. So I'm actually putting on a free training where I'm going to walk you through the 7 simple but powerful universal laws to becoming a consistent profitable trader while achieving a very high success rate without spending 13 years trying to figure it all out. Plus, I'm going to walk you through the absolute details of my #1 trading system that I trade every single day. The very first link in the description, click on that and you'll be able to go check it all out and be able to go see this free training. And I'm going to walk you through every single detail of these 7 universal laws so you too can start to have the odds on your side. So go do that right now and I'll see you on the next page.